Yolan True, and welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy. And it's our first video on all the new stuff coming in that came in with the new ARC Section 31 Part 1. And it's quite late that I got to film this video because the second maintenance on Wednesday completely messed up my schedule. But nevertheless, I decided then we just do the test together and have a look at the whole thing together, because I very early wanted to make the video on the new solar waves, and so we just tried together. I reached the point at night in the missions where I have to do one wave, although it tells me to do it in one of the systems, but we will do a little bit different one, and maybe it counts, but we will see. In general, the new solar waves are here in the same area of the map where you know the other waves. First we had the normal waves, then the mirror waves, and now those yellow clusters are the solar wave areas. Starting up here with the level 45 systems, then we have level 50 systems over here and level 60 systems over here. At the moment when I'm filming this, we also have some events that demand me to do some level 60 solar waves. Haven't done any yet, so we just gonna have a look at it. And it works as usual. You click defend, then you see how much it costs. In this case, we have Section 31 private ciphers. You get them from the Section 31 faction store. And now in the beginning we got some from Scopely. And it costs 100 of those to do that. And you see, despite what I read in the announcement where it said 3 ships, now it says up to 2 ships for, you can, 2 ships for group wave defense and 3 ships for solar wave defense. So it's that they put it in here that just distracted me a little bit. So I still can go in with 3 ships, as I said in the announcement video on Tuesday. We have 10 minutes to settle all in, and then the whole thing will start. So let's just click defend. In the level 60 waves here, I'm expecting that we will have to deal only with those new Orion Prowlers. As far as I learned so far from others, the Ferengi only show up in the level 45 systems, but we will see. In the middle there's this base that we saw in the announcements, and that's the one I have to defend. I'm expecting ships to come from certain directions, so it's good to know some people. So I'm moving my ships a little bit in certain directions and looking so I can not completely do the combat triangle, but at least try to be in line with a certain kind of ships before we get started. And there's a maximum of 5 waves as far as I learned that. So we will see how this goes. I have to complete 3 waves for the events at the moment, and will be interesting. It will be even more interesting. Does this thing as usual crash when I start it and the first waves come in, first wave comes in, because that usually happens when I start a wave. And now let's see if I can start now. Yes, so it's the same. The size, it says it's 1 of 1. All my 3 ships are in. It says the different kind of hostiles that will come in. There's battleships, explorers, interceptors, and miners. And the hostile levels here in the 60s are 60 to 65. And the rewards on the first wave are 500 access keys. There are more access keys. And in the third wave, there are access keys, Section 31 credits, and mirror credits. So doing the solos brings you the rest as well. Then we have access keys again, and then we have all 3 again. So doing the solo ones brings you the rewards of all the the other ones as well if you are successful. So that could be quite a help to skip the normal ones. But we will see. And now I put my screen on battle mode, so to speak, and shall we just see what's coming? But you could also leave, as you can see, if you don't want to do this, but we will just try. And I have, as I said, I haven't tried it yet, so we will see how well my ships will do. And we get started with my strongest one. But level 60 in normal space would be no issue for me. Oh, they already raced away. Yeah, talking in waves always was a problem. And it once again is. And I miss one of these just because I talked, at least one of these. And that's not the best thing I could do. So there are not a lot of them, but there's a number of them. And so one should be really able to take care of what you're doing. Otherwise you miss too much and then you will not be able to fight them. And that could be problematic. So now the second wave is coming in, and you also have to somehow keep an eye on where the ships are coming from and how many those are, and not to overlook anything. So I can really only suggest that you there I missed another one. That's the dangerous part, because they sometimes, when you're not used to the what do you call it, the directions and everything they're coming from, then it will be a bit harder to get all of them. And while I'm filming, I will not be able to do 5 waves, I can tell you that. But the Ferengi plunderers seem to be a bit harder. And there is a Ferengi plunderer, although they told me there would only be the prowlers because I killed my Minerva. And my other ships also got quite some beating for the size of the ships and for the usual strength of the ships. So I'm down to 2 ships, and it doesn't look good for my third wave. Oh, and they are showing up not all at once. That's why I didn't see all of them immediately. Because they come in mid-wave. At least those 2 were. And that's quite interesting. Because that one I still have to catch somehow. And the other one up there, they showed up a bit later, while I was already fighting the others. And that's interesting. Oh yeah, and I almost killed my Akira now. So I am able to do 3 waves with those ships. Oh, that one appeared very close to the base. So it's not always good to leave the area. Yeah, I will not survive that one. You see how fast they are, but you need more power. Yeah, I'm done. You need power to take them down, as you've seen, and not speed. But I managed to do 3 waves of the 60s, and I also got some Section 31 credits and some Section 31 mirror credits. So I think when I do this without talking to you guys, I should be able to collect a little bit of stuff. Let's have a quick look if I could do the mission with that one. The mission didn't call, but no, I really have to do a 41 for that. So I will have to do 141 to complete that mission. But I did the events as well with this, and so I'm getting even more of these access keys that I need in the new Section 31 upgrade, so to speak. And so That is quite nice. And I completed the whole set, so I quickly can show you the solo defense event, wave defense events that we had here. And for one I had to do the first wave, for one I had to do the second wave, and for one I had to do the third wave, and I managed, barely, but I did manage. And so I completed that event with it as well. The major points are, really watch out where those hostiles are coming from. You've seen that. They are appearing mid-system, and they are sometimes quite fast. So you really have to concentrate on all your 3 ships. You have to know which ship is what. If you are playing on a desktop, that probably will be easier because you can use the hotkeys for your docks to switch between ships. That is something I did in waves in the past. When I had the chance, I did that on a desktop because I could use the hotkeys, and then you have it a bit easier. But those ships are not appearing all at the same time, as you've seen, and they're appearing sometimes halfway or half of the way to your base, and so you really have to keep an eye out where those things are. They are harder than the normal waves. They're not as many hostiles, but they're strong. Yeah, level 60 ships shouldn't be that big of a problem for me as they've just have been, and even the 65 shouldn't be. But it was quite hard, and I put my Strange New Worlds crew on it. I put a Enterprise E crew on it, and I put my Janeway crew on it because I really needed strength to deal with them. And if there's not an event that forces me to, I may be trying to do the level 50s. Then I will later do the level 45 for the mission. But in general, I will maybe not always do the 60s because my ships are not that strong yet. Nevertheless, was quite an interesting test, especially for those who are not Ops level 45 yet, because that's the prerequisite for these new solar wave defenses. Have a look out for later, and now you already know what you will be expecting, and I'm quite sure that you will start in the level 45 section over here in the beginning. But at least there are a lot of those systems, so even if a lot of people are fighting at the same time for events or something, there should be space somewhere, and that's the case for all 3. And you see there are some doing it at the moment, and the markers are still the same. There's one with a lock, which is already happening. There was another one just there with a plus. He was still sorting his ships, and is there another one with a plus now? Yeah, down there is another plus. He's sorting his ships before starting, and so but you cannot join other people's solar wave defenses, obviously. But it's quite interesting, and will be quite interesting to see when I will manage to finish a level 60 with all 5 waves. I was a little bit too busy to have a look at the ships itself, but we of course can have a look at the battle protocols, and that's the Ferengi Plunderer that got me. That's a Plunderer, that's not but still one. And so what I read, that the Ferengi Plunderers, I misunderstood what I read. They are only coming in the first 3 waves. In the last 2 waves, they are only prowlers. But in the first 3 waves of all levels, they are also Ferengi as Orions. So now I got it. So in the first 3 waves, you will have Ferengi and Orions. And in the last 2 waves, you will have the Plunderers. The Prowlers only, the Orion Prowlers. But you see, they have 557 million. That shouldn't be that hard, but they killed me. And the last one was 1.4, although I had a 3.5 billion ships, so they're quite tough, the guys. Nevertheless, Once again, I hope I could give you a little sneak peek into those solar waves, and you've seen how they work. And if you want to add something about them, please write in the comments below the video on the Discord. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen.